making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time. So be sure to grab your tea, grab a seat, and tune in to Miss Liz. Tea time, making a difference, one cup at a time. Tea time, yeah. Tea time, time.
Well, welcome everybody. We are back. It is evening tea time, and we're on the last tea time of October 2023. That's right, we're jumping into November next week. I can't believe that we've already gotten to the end of October. I have the incredible Nancy Soule. She is in the back, and we were giggling and laughing and getting carried away. So that's why we're a couple seconds a little late tonight because we were just having a good old time back there. So that just goes to show you how much we're going to enjoy tonight. She is the author. She's a vocalist. She's a speaker. She's a ship musician coach. She is an amazing, amazing lady. I am so excited because I put it out there about 4 months ago. I want to know how it is to work on a ship. And I wanted to always work on the cruise ships when I was a little girl. And then all of a sudden, Nancy pops in my submissions and she's like, hey, I'd like to be a guest. Well, guess what? I was like, yes, absolutely. We're going to do this and we're going to have some fun. So let's get the disclaimer out there. Let's get a little bit on Nancy and her bio. And then I'm going to get Nancy in here and we're going to spill a good, strong TEA tonight and we're going to have some fun. We're going to go in the sea. That's right. We're going to do a little mermaid under the sea. Disclaimer for Miss Liz's Tea Time live show. Miss Liz, myself, is going live using StreamYard. Before leaving a comment, please grant StreamYard permission to see your name at StreamYard.com. Please be advised that the content brought forward for any Tea Time show hosted by myself, Miss Liz, is always brought forward in good faith. However, may bring forth dialogues and opinions that are not representative of my platform. The facts and information are perceived to be accurate at the given time of airing. All Tea Time guests and audience participants are responsible for using their good judgment in taking any action that may relate to the discussion. The content brought forward may include discussions for some where they may be emotionally at risk. It is significant to know that this show is engaging in discussion forums only to offer and inspire awareness and connection and is not providing therapeutical advice. If you have any questions about the disclaimer or the panelist list discussion, you may freely contact me, Miss Liz, through my email at bookingmissliz@gmail.com. Moving forward, should you choose to voluntarily participate in tonight's show in any aspect, I myself, Miss Liz, welcomes you. And should you decide that the show is not made for you at this time, I respect those wishes and will see you at a later show at a later date and time. And again, all tea times this year in 2023 are done on Thursday, 10, 3, and 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursdays. And if it's not a Thursday, it's a surprise guest or a rescheduled tea time on a Monday or Tuesday, because that's just how Miss Liz works over here. We just keep popping these teas out like a good old tea party. So now a little bit on my guest. Nancy Soule found herself divorced, over 50 years of age, without a home and ready for a new direction in life. After being a fashion college teacher for 18 years, her sideline of singing with bands at night provided an opportunity of a lifetime. Hired to be part of a trio on cruise ships, for her adversity soon became the blessing. She was free to travel. Now passion is her middle name and centers on three things: music, travel, and helping others experience the joy of both. After many years In cover bands, she wrapped that passion around the creativity of jazz. Now she takes that autism and shares the benefits of this life with other musicians. As an author, her new book, Work at Sea, See the World, An Insider Secrets to the Working Life on a Cruise Ship, provided 220 pages of intimate details of ship life. It is the foundation of her upcoming interactive online course, Notes That Float, which we'll be talking about tonight. The course shares stories and outlines the opportunity for a wild variety of musicians to play, experience many nationalities, and get paid for it. The benefits of international communication, teamwork, diversity, and tolerance all contribute to making the world a better place for everyone. If only countries could get along as well as crew members do. Although she has traveled the world, she is a native of Seattle, Washington. Turquoise color is her favorite color, which we'll be talking about tonight, uh, which is particularly appropriate for her life surrounding the ocean. She can be found on all social media platforms: Facebook, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Instagram at nancy.soule1. And we're going to get Nancy in here. And I wanted to read her full bio because I want you guys to get the full effect of who Nancy is. And if you'd like to see, she also has a gift that we're going to talk about as well. I'm going to talk about that. But I want to get her in here and I want to get some tea down my throat because I'm getting a little dry. Welcome, Nancy.
Well, thank you, Liz. Oh my gosh, what an intro.
Oh my goodness, she's muted. How come I can't hear you?
Oh dear.
Oh, there you are. I can hear you.
Oh good. Oh good. Oh, yes, I'm live on this end. I hope so.
She went under the water for a minute.
I was floating around.
So, Nancy, I'm going to start off how I started off all the time. Who were you as a little girl and who are you now?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think I started singing when I was probably less than 5. I remember driving everybody crazy in the car, having singing ad nauseum. I wouldn't shut up, And probably one of my favorite songs was this little song called Buzzard. I looked it up. It's a country western song, but I think it was Tex Ritter. I don't remember who was it did it, but it was, stop your flapping overhead because I'm telling you, boy, that I ain't dead, Mr. B. With it is the day on the buzzard. And I just kept singing that over, driving everybody crazy. So
I'm going to have to look it up now because you got me all buzzard over here.
I know it's still in my head. I can't let it, from when I was 5, honestly. So music has always been a really big part of my life. So that's what led me to where I am.
So, Nancy, you said since the age of 5. So, did you go into choirs? Did you sing by yourself? Did you get into music competitions?
Everything.
Everything.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was just singing with the hairbrush, in front of the mirror. I got into high school musicals, did a lot of that. Let's see, uh, Music Man, and another little Amish musical called Plain and Fancy. Just all sorts of crazy things like that. And then it came time to go to college, and I grew up in Seattle, and it rains, all the time. And somebody said, there's a place you can go where the sun comes out every day. And I went, oh my gosh, sign me up. So, I had to go, and I'm, in the theater. I got to go to Hollywood. Welcome to Hollywood. What's your dream? It's my favorite line from Pretty Woman. So I had to go to Hollywood. So I went to LA and, lived in that crazy traffic for a long time and bounced back and forth between the South and the North, and finally ended up there for about 25 years, came north, went back south, back and forth, until I got this job on a ship and went, oh my God, who knew they
So,
would
how did you just get a job on a ship? That's what got me really dry. I was like, how did you get this? Like, hello, did somebody knock on your door and say, do you want to go on a ship?
Well, I had been on one. I never really been on a cruise until I met my husband, and he introduced me to the whole concept. He's since passed away, but it was just so much fun, and I had just kind of gotten started with singing with bands, and I had the guts to ask them if I could sit in with the band, and they said yes. I went, Oh, so it totally blew me away because I just still remember somewhere I have a picture of that because somebody took a picture of me doing that, and I wish I could find it because it was I still have the outfit though. I remember that. So it was just so much fun. And so, I got did the marriage thing. I did helping the, husband's business and that stuff. And it wasn't me. And all the teaching, okay, after 18 years of teaching fashion design and costuming, I said, okay, that's kind of enough. I'm ready for a change. So I had been doing these bands at night, like you mentioned, and I found some guys online who were looking for a singer to replace the girl they had for their trio. And they called me up and said, "We want you in the band." I'm like, yes, okay, cool. Oh, yeah, and I've been doing it ever since. That was 2011, and I have not stopped sailing. I'm not playing with a band as much anymore now. I'm kind of sitting in when I can. I'm doing wardrobe. So I combined my theater and costuming with the ships. So I'm doing the costumes for the theater now, but I still sit in with the bands when I can. So, but it was just such an incredible experience to be able to get paid to travel the world. I would save all my Condé Nast magazines under the bed when I was a kid and looking at these pictures of, Tahiti and Bora Bora. It's like, wow, my first contract. I flew to Honolulu. They flew me to Honolulu, and we sailed down through Tahiti, Moorea, Bora Bora, Auckland, Sydney, went all the way around Australia, went to Bali, went to Tasmania. It's like, oh, who knew this was
And
a
you get
thing?
paid for it. Like,
A paycheck. God, man, I had no overhead. I wasn't paying for anything other than what I wanted to pay for, on shore. I was allowed to do some of the excursions as a crew member, where you could go as an escort. So you're the liaison between the ship and the tour company and that sort of thing. So I got to go to all sorts of cool places. It was just so I decided with this book that somebody needed to know about this.
yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people need to know about this. Like, I was like, yeah, like, hello, me.
It's not for everybody. Granted, there are some downsides, and I kind of go into those in the book because you got to be aware of the time commitment and the distance, and you're kind of disconnected, for a while. But technology has helped that a lot by having, used to we just had kind of have Facebook, or we had FaceTime.
Yeah.
But now we have a lot more things to be able to stay connected, and Wi-Fi is available, and we've gotten some Starlink, so their connections are better. It's getting there, but but
So
still,
then,
it's just so damn much fun.
so are you working on one cruise line
At the
company?
moment, yes, when I was with the band, we did both Royal Caribbean and also Norwegian.
Oh,
And the guys that I played with had already been doing this for probably 10, 15 years before I joined them. So they had done all the other lines, and they just decided they liked Royal the best. So I kind of went with that because that was where they were going to go. So
I've always wanted to take the Norwegian cruise because I have Norway in my heritage. That's where my great grandparents come from and my grandma comes from. And I'm always like, I want to know about Norway. And I've heard so much about their cruises as well, the
yeah,
travel and everything.
yeah.
So, out of all of the cruises that you've done in all the years that you've done this, Nancy,
Yeah.
what was your favorite and what was the most memorable one?
Oh gosh. It's just so hard to even start. Probably one of the most memorable is Venice. It's such a precarious city. I mean, it's amazing that it's lasted for the centuries that it has, but it's still sinking. It's just really sad to see these massive mosaics that end up underwater when the tide comes in, in the lobbies of the basilica and things like that. And you can easily get lost in there. I understand. I took a little class trying to learn a little Italian before I went. And I understand now why they teach you immediately how to say Dove la Piazza San Marco, which
Oh my
just means,
goodness, what did you just say?
just means where's the piazza? Where's the plaza? The big one with the tower and the one you see in all the pictures.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So and because the signs there are so obscure, the arrows go to places am I going over there? Or it just like kind of goes this way, but The street doesn't match. It's just very strange. But I can see why. Every time you turn a corner, you have to ask again, Dove la Piazza San Marco? Where is the plaza? I'm lost again. But you
So how
can't
many
really get
languages do
lost.
you
You
talk?
just end up back where you started. So,
So Nancy, with all the travel you've done, how many languages do you speak?
well, I'm dabbling a little. I try to learn a little bit before I go. I'm trying really hard to learn Spanish because I can't seem to get into a taxi in Miami without being able to speak to the taxi driver because they all español. So I'm working on that one. At one point, I tried to learn Chinese because
Ooh.
the band had been playing for a while, and they had just launched this ships going into Asia. And we were at the time we were playing like ballroom stuff and dance music, not party band stuff, but ballroom kind of things and jazz and classic stuff. And so I said, well, why don't you just put us on that ship? That'd be great. And they came back and said, no, 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 you have to speak Chinese. You have to, speak a little bit Chinese. And I thought, well, I can do that. I dive into everything, 120%. And
She
so,
dives in. Get it, guys? She dives in.
so I got just as far as saying, excuse me, you speak English, I don't speak Chinese, which is 对不起，你为谁为什么我为什么为一点儿不懂我 something like that. Which is just like that's all I learned. I got as far as I don't speak Chinese, I don't do you speak English, and said, okay, that's enough.
My goodness, that's enough to get you somewhere. Like
little
right,
bit.
dive
I did
you
a
in.
little bit
Like,
of French, growing up in South Canada, in Washington. I had to grow up learning French, so I've got a little French, a little Spanish, a smattering of Italian. Mostly, what I've learned is from songs, because we would when we played in the Mediterranean, we would have lots of different cultures on board, and so I would pick up songs of different places, and I'd wander around a little bit first and see who's saying what and get a feel for what kind of people are in the room. And if you get somebody who's Italian and you pop out with an Italian song or something in Portuguese, then they just light up and say, woo, woo, look at that. It's not all English. Yes, we do know something besides. So that served me along. So I did a little smattering, little Portuguese, little Spanish, little French, little, very, very little Chinese, but the little bits wherever I can.
so Nancy, we have a question here. What are the protocols to get to work on a ship? Like I'm guessing like visa or stuff like that, right?
Okay. It depends a lot on what your country of origin is. If you are, it's because it's pretty much open to anybody in the world. And that's what's so cool about it, because you meet people from all over. But a lot of it, we'd have to check the government based on where you live as far as what the access would be. The primary qualifications, really, you have to speak English, at least be fluent enough that you understand what's going on, because that's a safety consideration, because it's the international maritime regulation of language, so that all the seafarers can communicate from different countries. So you kind of have to have some good English. You have to be pretty physically fit, because really you're hired as a rescue worker. Doesn't really count what your job is. I mean, that's good. I mean, that's really important, but it's very much secondary. So being a rescue worker, because you're hired to be able to get anybody off the ship if you have to. If there's an emergency, you have to be physically fit in order to carry out whatever emergency duties you've been assigned. So those are the primary things.
So what's the pros and cons?
Well, the cons are, chances are you're probably going to have to share a cabin with somebody you don't know. This could be interesting. It's generally same sex of whoever you are. I mean, I was the odd man out with my trio, so that my guys would share a cabin, and they always put me in with somebody else in the entertainment department. Although once I was in with the accountant, or I've been in with one of the girls from the kids club, things like that. And I mean, I was the extra, so I always had interesting roommates. But you're not there all that long. You're not in the cabin all that long. You're out working, doing your thing. So it's a great way to get acquainted with people. I rather enjoyed it because I've had Polish roommates and Ukrainian roommates and Russian roommates, and just people from Romanians, uh, um, Jamaicans. It just depends on who it is. So
Well, and
you have to
it
be
gives you
flexible.
that diversity, right? The diversity
Yeah,
of meeting people and that.
yeah. That's a joy of it. I mean, there have been times when I've had my own cabin for a while, and it gets really boring and really kind of isolating. So it's kind of fun having somebody to hang with. And you always got the crew bar.
So, for the people that have never taken a cruise, what do you recommend them to check out if they're booking a cruise?
It's a good idea if you're thinking, even if you're thinking about going on one as a potential hire, it's good to go on one just to be able to see what that job would be. It helps you get a little better perspective on the environment and the situation and the responsibilities, that sort of thing. So just pick something that's close where you are. Hopefully, if there's a port nearby, that's always the best thing. We generally sail out of pretty much anything out of South Florida on either side, Tampa, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, or there are several in the Northeast, in Bayonne in New Jersey, um, Galveston in Texas, couple of LA in the South, Seattle here in the summertime to go. Oh, which is going to Alaska is a fabulous trip. That's wonderful. So it depends on where you live and how long you want to be gone. You can do like 2 or 3 day things out of LA that just go over to Ensenada or Catalina just to get a feel for what's going on board. That'll give you a chance to talk to people that are doing the job maybe you're interested in and get a feel for whether or not you can stand being, on the ocean for a while.
Well, and there's also the seasickness, right? Like you have to see if you can handle it.
It's not as much a problem anymore just because there are so many technology apparatus apparati that they can project they know what's coming, and they will just either skip a port or change the ports or go someplace else. If there's a storm coming, they don't mess with it. They're going to go somewhere else. You know, some companies may be better than others, but they're really well aware of what's going on out there, and they don't want anybody uncomfortable if they can help it. So if you're really kind of stuck in a situation, you have to, there's Dramamine and there's ginger and green apples and things like that help. But it's most of the ships stay pretty close to a coastline unless it's doing a transatlantic or transpacific, something like that, where you're out there for a long time. That would be the only one that would be a problem. We don't go around the Horn in Africa, really, or South America either. So, yeah, you just pick the route that feels the most comfortable for you.
So, Nancy, what's the longest contract on the sea?
Ooh, well, it could be generally 11 months would be
Ooh.
probably the max. And generally, most of them for typically musicians are about 4 months. If the orchestra musicians are sometimes often for 9, are on board for 9 months. So it depends on what the contract is. There are some musicians who are just what they call replacements. Where
Okay.
somebody was coming to play saxophone and he couldn't get his medical cleared in time, and so somebody had to come in and just fill in for a couple of weeks, who's already been approved, who's already even worked for the company. They can just chop on for a couple of weeks, fill in while they're waiting for the other guy to show up to do his long one. So that's part of the deal with that.
So, Nancy, you mentioned about being a fashion teacher. So, you do like a costumes for the entertainment. Is that like for the lounge singers and all of that you create the?
No, the costumes I do are for the theater. So
Oh,
they
okay.
have massive production shows that are West End, Broadway, some of the company productions, Royal Caribbean Productions, that are very elaborate with massive costumes and lots of feathers and sequins and, really fabulous costumes.
I gotta book
And
myself a cruise.
it's just so damn much fun. And every time we get a new cast, we got to get the new people in the new end of the costume. So, because the costumes are pretty much set for that show, and they live on board, so the people come and go. So we got to make them fit, which is
So
kind of a challenge sometimes because some of these people are not really the same size as the costumes.
So in your book that you wrote, Work at Sea, See the World, an insider cruise in the cruise ship.
Mhm.
What kind of giveaways do you give away? We're just going to give little tidbits because we want people to go buy the book. But what little tidbits will engage them to go and grab a copy?
Oh, I think the coolest thing about it is just the adventure of it all. That the fact that you can do what you do and you have the skills to do it, whether you're in tech or whether you're in entertainment or whether you're an accountant. If you want to go to sea, you can do it. So having that option to be able to wake up in a different country every day is just so cool. To me, that's the advantage. I
I think
I
it's
can't
cool, man.
comprehend having a day job that doesn't move anymore. Staying put is just seems so. I drove by a little tailor shop today on the outside, and this poor little man just sitting there sewing in his little machine. I think, oh, I'm so sad. He has to go sit in that one little box every day. And it's like, oh, you know, I sew, but I get to go outside to the beaches of the Caribbean, or I go see the monuments in Europe, and I
And you get paid for it. Like that's the best part.
and I
You
don't
get
have to
to see
figure
the
out
world and get paid for it.
ways.
Come on, that's the best job out there, right?
I
You
think
get to
so.
travel, see,
Yeah,
you know.
I've gotten so addicted to traveling. I've just my suitcases are packed all the time because I never know when I'm going to be called up to go out. So I've had a couple of years ago. I had just gotten back from Alaska, just gotten in the house, finally, got some good Wi-Fi. Was checking out what my emails were going. I had a notes from the boss that said, "Oh, can you go to Rome tomorrow?" Okay. So
Like who's
take
gonna
out
say
the
no?
clothes for
Like
Alaska, put in the ones for Italy, and I couldn't get. I live on an island, so I couldn't get to the flight that he booked for me at 6 in the morning from here. So I literally had to repack, get back on a cab, go back to the airport, and stay at a hotel in the airport so I can get that flight in the first thing in the morning. So it's kind of crazy,
so
but
sometimes they just ring you up and say, can you go here? Can you go there?"
yeah, sometimes they do because we need in the theater there are replacements as well as just like with the musicians. If there's somebody needs a dancer has gone home for whatever reason and they send in another one, he's got to get refit. So somebody's got to go take care of that. So I'll do it.
See that awesome job. Like for all the viewers and listeners out there, like what other job can you get paid for and travel and enjoy the sea? You know, I'm signing. I'm so excited. Like I'm gonna take tea time on the water. Like come on, let's go to the sea with tea time. Let's see what we can do. I want.
Have you
I
been
want
on a
to.
cruise?
I have never been on a cruise. I I am so looking forward to doing one. I'm turning 50 in May, and I think that's what I might be doing for my birthday is taking a cruise and just
Good idea.
enjoying myself.
It's so cool because you can either do everything or do nothing. It's totally your choice. You settle into your little comfy little cabin and empty your suitcase into your tiny little closet, and your hotel moves. You don't have to jump from cabs to hotels to packing and unpacking and packing and unpacking. Where am I going to eat now? Ooh, how do I speak the language? And if I'm supposed to tip here, I don't know. That sort of stuff.
So how do you know when to tip and what not when to tip?
Yeah, you
You
just stay
just
on
tip.
board. You don't have to tip at all. Comes up at the end. If you want to, that's cool.
I want to get into the jazz music because we also had James this morning, and he plays the saxophone. But I want to get into how do you get your jazz out through music, singing, instruments?
Yeah, I'm a vocalist. I mean,
You're
I was a pianist for a long time, and I realized that just the singing is what I love doing, and it's what I'm best at, I think, at the moment. So it's just the jazz was so freeing because, as I said, I've spent so many years being in a cover band, having to be Tina Turner and Michael Jackson. I had to be Michael Jackson. I had to be James Brown. Ow! It's like Come on. Really? So the jazz just gives you a chance because most people know basically these songs to be able to turn them around and do something more creative with them that's very original. Nobody is going to do it just like you because you're improvising sometimes, and you're playing with people who are equally proficient in their instruments, whether bass or piano or drums or whatever, and it's just so much fun.
So, what's your favorite jazz song?
Oh, oh my gosh, there's so many. Probably the one that comes to mind just Fly Me to the Moon. It's just like, oh yeah. If I had to sit in immediately,
That
okay, let's do
was
that.
Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin?
Mhm. Frank.
Frank. I knew
Yeah.
it was one of them. I was just like, I gotta go back to the old soul. Like,
Oh, Frank, Ella, Peggy, Carmen, these are the guys. If you know those names, yeah, that's your jam. So there aren't as many jazz opportunities on ships anymore, I gotta say. They've
oh,
gotten more focused on party bands because the ships generally kind of are heading toward trying to get the millennials, and they're more into the Gagas and the Bruno stuff. And so they're trying to get the party band to do more of the old stuff, little bit smattering in here and there. So that's kind of why I segued into the costuming because they weren't as intense on the jazz, and really that's what I love doing. There are a few ships that do. The big ones, at least with Royal, there are four of the big Oasis class ships that do still have a jazz club. So, and it's usually a quartet. So I'm heading out to one of those in a few weeks, and I
oh,
have every intention of cozying up to the singer and say, "Can I sit in? Can I sit in?" Usually they'll let me, which is really cool because once you've done one, they go, "Oh, well, okay, all right, she's got some shots. She's okay."
so you're a vocalist, Nancy. So give us give us a 2 minute out of just out of the water. Just give me something for 2 minutes that comes to mind.
Well,
Any
I give
type
you,
of song.
oh, well, I'll give you "Fly Me" just because it's on the top of my head now.
There you go.
Okay, fly me to the moon, let me play among the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, oh, darling, kiss me. How's that?
I love it. I love when my guests just go boom into it, because this is what it is. Tea time is all over the place. It just makes a big old mess, and we just flow it in a different way for each guest. And sometimes when they can sing and they can play music, I'm like, get your guitar out, sing me a song, play the saxophone, you know, play the clarinet if you got it. Like, and I just like to bring the different flow of tea to the table. So Nancy, now I'm going to ask you, what is your tea? If I give you TEA, what 3 words or 4 words are you giving me?
Oh my gosh. Well, music has to be the top one because honestly, it has so many benefits. I mean, it's there's so many studies of how it affects everyone psychologically, physically, the advantages mentally for acuity and memory and uh, coordination. It just I can go on and on. There's just so many ways that it's powerful, even for the people who are listening, and as well. I mean, it keeps them um, well engaged. I know there've been so many studies proved about people with Alzheimer's and things that really can't even remember their own name, and yet you mention a song, they will sing all the lyrics. It's like, okay, yeah, you're still in there. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So music is probably one of the best. I'd say the second it'd have to be adventure because traveling and doing the fun things that I get to do is just life is too short to stay home and just do the same thing over and over every day. I do the same thing over and over, but at least I get to go see it. I get to do it someplace else. So that's kind of fun. So those would be the two. And then probably the third would be connection
Oh,
because on the ship, because we have so many languages and so many cultures that are involved, it just seems to me that that is the way to get some peace back in the world. I mean, our Ukrainians get along well with the Russians on board. We have lots of skaters. We have ice skaters on a cruise ship. How crazy is that? I know. We have high divers. We have, all sorts of, you know, uh, tango dancers and just incredibly creative people. And to have so many countries in such a small space that all get along. Now, granted, it is kind of a military hierarchy, I got to say. So, as far as you were talking about the downsides, yes, you've got to follow the protocols of who's in charge, and you got to play by the rules. You can't be having any drugs on board. So that's kind of a disqualification right there. If you're kind of connected with that sort of thing, that would not go well. They'd be putting you off in the first port they can do. So um, just having that connection and communication and having the way to connect with so many friends in different countries and communicate with people is just so valuable. I mean, if we all talked a little better, maybe we wouldn't be fighting with each other. Because I don't understand the whole war thing. That's just it makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
But the
I'm
ships
the
have
same
been
way.
really good
I'm
about
like, everybody
taking
just
care
get
of
along.
people.
Like, come on, let's all hold hands and sing kumbaya. Like, come on. Yeah.
We teach the world to sing. Yeah. Remember, Michael? That was a good, yeah, for sure. Because
Right?
honestly, the ships have been great because we have a lot of people who are Russian, who are Ukrainian, who are Israeli that can't go home because everything's in turmoil. And so, they're musicians. They don't want to go home and fight. They want to stay and keep making money and keep playing and doing what they love. And so, I had that opportunity. Actually, one of the ships, when the war had just broken out, there was a party band that was Ukrainian, and the girl singer just kind of freaked out when the war broke out because she thought, I got to go home. I got to take care of my daughter. Grandma's taking care of her. I just, I got to go. So the music director was somebody who was the same one that I had on my very first contract. So I'm there on board doing costumes. And so he came to me and said, Nancy, can you hook me up? I need a singer. Like, oh, come on, twist my arm. Okay, we can make this happen. So I spent, a couple of weeks just singing with the party band at night, and I do my sewing in the daytime, and then I go back and play again with the party band. It's like, yay, this was way cool. I still got some chops. That's okay. I had to learn a few new songs. That was okay. Now, which is also interesting. We were sailing out of Galveston in Texas. So here, the poor Ukrainian band had to be responsive to their audience. So they had to learn, Achy Breaky Heart. And all my exes live in Texas. And, God bless Texas. All those fun songs that are very, very country. So, okay, we're a band from another country, but we can do it. So they learned how to do it. It all came out okay.
Achy breaky heart. That's like in the 80s, right?
Oh yeah, but hey, it's popular, It's things that's kind of the thing with musicians. They have to be aware of what the repertoire is for the people where you're going. So that's why I was doing what I was doing with mine because we were playing in Europe. And we have a lot of different cultures, so I had to learn songs from different countries to, make it appealing and make it what they want to listen to because it's not all about me. It's about them, and that's
So Nancy, I want to get your fourth word because I know that you have 4 words.
fourth word. Well, the fourth word is the passion because I am so passionate about just what I do and sharing the joy of the music and the connection with people.
See, and the fourth word takes you actually into the word that I asked you to give me a word that describes you, and you said passionate, and here's the passion. So why passionate?
Ah, well, as you can tell, I'm a little enthusiastic.
And I love it. I love it.
I am not a wallflower. And when I get excited about something, I just want to share it because why not? So I just get excited about it.
No, life's too short to sit and be all serious all the time.
I think so too.
So
Absolutely.
I want to go into your color now. You
Yeah.
gave me turquoise blue, and all the viewers out there that can see the video, not the audio guys, because you can't see us.
No.
You'll see that we're wearing turquoise. We're wearing blue colors. We're wearing the sea here tonight. So I want to get a little bit into that sea. Why that color? I know it's the water and the sea and all that, but a little deeper. Let's go a little deeper in the water.
Oh, deeper. Oh, that was good. Well, I got to tell you, there are so many colors in the ocean. You just think, oh, ocean's blue. But no. I mean, there are places where it is so turquoise and so clear you can see right through it. There are other places where it's kind of more the color you're wearing, which is more of a royal blue that's deeper. And it just amazes. You look at it, you can't believe your eyes sometimes. It's just so incredibly beautiful and so much variety. It's amazing. And the stuff in there, there's fish and there's really creepy things. But, there are orchids.
You just never know what to see.
I see so much in the ocean. I mean, the sea lions and the otters and the orcas and the gray whales and sperm whales and just so many things. And the birds. Oh my gosh, albatross and seagulls. Seagulls are different in every country. It's amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, some of them are more gray. Some of them have like dark tips on their wings. There's a variety. It's amazing.
Oh, wow. I'm learning about seagulls now.
Oh, yeah.
Another reason why Miss Liz wants to go and take a cruise. She wants to see the birds.
See the birds. Oh, yeah.
Feed the birds, see the birds. I want to get into Notes That Float. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. Well, since I discovered this opportunity, I was not the only one, obviously, because it's been going on for years and years. But it's always been such a secret of how to get this job. And so the book was going to be targeted toward the musicians until I approached a publisher and they went, way too small a niche. It's like, you don't realize how many people, there are like 900 that have to be hired all the time to be doing this job. It's crazy. But okay, fine. Everybody has to go through the same training, packing up your house to be gone for so many months at a time. What do you do with your car? What do you do with your roommate? How do you manage your money? What are the things you need to know? So, okay, everybody has to go through that. And the trainings, because you learn all this emergency trainings, fire safety and medical and da-da-da-da. So, okay, I'll explain all of that, make that the book. And the more I realized it afterwards, I thought, writing a book for musicians was just stupid. Musicians don't want to read a book. They need somebody to tell them what's going on and show them how it's going to work and do a video and that sort of stuff. So I am in the process of just launching my new program called Notes That Float. And I kind of promised it in the book thinking I was going to do a book and thought, no, that's a silly idea. So Notes That Float is now becoming an online course. And I'm going to go through what the requirements are for anybody who's interested in playing their music on a ship of what has to be done, what they have to do to make that happen, and who they can get connected with to, get through the process. So,
well, look at that. And if you notice at the end of your video, your 1 minute video that I created, I have the little sticky notes, and I just realized that you have notes that float here. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I was wondering where the sticky notes came from when I was doing the video. I was like,
well, so if anybody is interested in the least bit of just questions or just want me to answer things for them, I'm happy to do so. You just send an email to notesthatfloatprogram@gmail.com, and I am all over it. Be happy to answer any questions and get you more information as the course is being developed to get you involved. So, I mean, it's such an amazing opportunity to be able to be paid to do what you love and travel the world. It's like, okay, I help you.
We all need a little help, right? And we all could take a nice cruise. Like, who doesn't want to take a cruise?
We all need a little help from our friends, as you know.
Right?
Somebody said that once.
Who sings that song?
Oh, come on,
Oh my goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue and I can't
the Beatles.
Oh, that's
Come on.
Listen.
You're not one of those people who actually don't realize that there was a band before Wings that Paul McCartney was involved with, right?
Really?
Hmm.
Who?
You're
The
not,
Who band? No, not the Who
not.
band. Elizabeth, that's another group.
Don't get me started on musicians. I get no. I don't always remember who actually wrote them or who performed them, but I can give you lyrics of practically anything.
I'm like all over. I'm like trying to. Oh, no, this artist. No, this artist. It's on the tip of my tongue. I can't get it.
Oh, the
Oh,
Beatles are the foundation for practically everything these days. They're just they were so phenomenal, and I'm so grateful some of them are still here.
you're
Yeah.
saying the Beatles? You know who I'm thinking of, Nancy?
Hmm.
I'm thinking of the Beach Boys.
Oh, well, there was more
Another.
competition between the two. Honestly, they bounced off each other. I know the Beach Boys were looking at Sergeant Pepper, going, "Damn, how did they do that?" And they came up with some stuff. And then the Beatles would look at the stuff that Pet Sounds that the Beach Boys were doing, and go, "Wow, that was a good idea."
Yeah.
It's
Well,
all
and
collaboration.
that's the kind of music you want on a cruise, right? You want to have that up jive. You want to move around. You want
Yeah.
to have the excitement.
Yeah, and having the things that people know. They want to hear what they know. So that's kind of tough to do if it's a band that likes to just do their own original stuff. You can smatter them in here and there and try to get, people familiar with it, but really they want to hear what they know.
Yeah.
So kind of changes your repertoire choices.
Well, look, we're doing "Achy Breaky Heart." That's in the '80s, and that's a good beat. Like, don't get me
Mhm,
wrong, that is a good song. Like, if you want to get moving and you want to jive, we're gonna
mhm.
start doing dancing and waving over here.
Okay.
I'm gonna go listen to "Achy Breaky Heart" when we're done this. So, Nancy, what was one of your favorite moments not working on the cruise, but actually just enjoying? Have you ever like taken a trip not working? Just take a trip.
Oh, I can't remember the last time I
So it's
did.
all been working. It's all been work and play.
Honestly, because it's kind of one and the same. I mean, I did a dry dock, which was interesting. But about every 5 years, the ships go into a dry dock so that they can do maintenance on propeller systems, what they call the acipods, which are the propeller bits in the back. Um, Doing refurbishment, maybe upgrading a restaurant, doing some interior stuff, things like that. And so I did one in Cadiz in Spain, which was absolutely awesome because we were docked, we're out of the water, we're not going anywhere, so we can go out and enjoy the town. So we're going out for dinner every night. It was wonderful, and the food there was incredibly fantastic and inexpensive, and you got to learn a little. You got to use my Spanish a little bit. That was fun. So that what got me more motivated. So okay, I got to learn. I got to be able to be more fluent about it. But yeah, that was really fun. But again, okay, it was work, but it was fun.
Right?
I don't have to pay for my own vacations anymore.
You get to work and gets paid for it
I
and
don't
gets
get
to
paid for
enjoy
my
the
vacation.
world.
Yeah, well, we'll work for food. That's what I do. Guys on the street. It's like, yeah, I'll work for food. That's what I
Well, you
do.
mentioned food. So what's your favorite food on the ship?
Ooh. Well, I'm not sure favorite would be the choice word. um, there's a lot of it. The thing is, it's on a rotation. So depending on what ship you're on and how long the cruises are, if you're on it's like a 3 and 4 day thing. Okay, Monday's going to be this, Tuesday's going to be Italian, Wednesday's going to be steak. It's like, okay, we can count on what the regular stuff because they're buying masses of produce and meat and things from all over these places and that have to go through strict regulations to be approved to be able to be used on the ship, that sort of thing. Nobody wants to get food poisoning or anything. They're very strict about how they take care of everything. So it's a lot of it, but it is fairly redundant. But the specialty restaurants are wonderful, because really good steaks and that sort of thing. If you're vegan, it's kind of a tough gig, gotta say. But if you like Indian food, lots of Indian food. It's all good.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, they like to reflect who their guests are. They want to provide what the people want that are on board. We seem to have a lot of East Indian guests on board. So there's always an Indian bar. There's always a salad bar. There's always chicken and fish and, burgers and hot dogs and, all the kid food all the time. So,
so we have a question here for you, Nancy. What's the size? How big is the cruise ship, and how much does it hold? How many people does it hold?
ooh, my gosh. Well, it depends on how big it is. There is a whole range. They can go from small ones that are just a few hundred people to 7,000. The new Icon of the Seas, which is coming out first of the year, is immense, but it's got everything. You don't even have to go anywhere. I mean, just get on the ship. The ship has all the entertainment. That is the destination. The slides and the water slides and the restaurants and the activities and the sports courts and all that sort of stuff that's going on. Some of them, probably the most, some of the more popular ones, just because they're a little smaller and they can go to more ports, would be kind of a medium-sized one that's more about 5,000 guests.
Oh,
So
that's
4 to 5.
That's like a little small country, like a little small community.
And so that's why they need so many people. We've got a casino, we've got sports courts, we've got just the theaters, obviously, and all of this. And obviously, there's cabin attendants that have to take care of all the rooms for all of those places, and people who just come and clean, and the chefs are, that's a whole list in the book of all the jobs of if you can do it on land and you feel you want to go to sea, give it a shot. I can tell you.
So let's talk a little bit about this book. So if anybody wants to get this book, Nancy, where can they get it?
You can get it on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You can also request it from your local bookseller. I'd like to support the local guys if you can. You just tell them it's Work at Sea, See the World by Nancy Soule. That's my name, Soule, with an E on it. It's kind of a weird name. Actually, it has an accent on it, but that never comes out on a computer. So I come and go. I have a friend from Mississippi call me Nancy Soule, my friend forever. It's like, oh yeah, I just be Nancy Soule. That's cool. I don't always have to be a Soule. I
was trying to get that accent. Is it the accent aigu or accent grec that's on your E?
Accent grave. See.
Accent grave.
Wait, see, now I'm French. I do Spanish.
I can speak a little bit of French, guys. Not much, but I can.
But trying to learn the two of them is driving me crazy because I start mixing them up. Like, no aquí aujourd'hui. No,
one's a goo and one's a grec.
One's Spanish and one's French. They don't pick. I do the best I can. You can get a lot done with hand signals and facial.
Right? Yeah. It goes this way, that way, and whatever side you like.
Yeah. Excellent job, I believe.
So Nancy, we're almost at the end here.
Oh no!
I'm having so much fun. I mean, so much fun. So we got the traveling in there. We got the living in there. We got the rewards in there. We got the notes and the floats. What am I missing here? What am I missing? Speaker. We didn't hit the speaker. So you do speaking as well. So is that in virtual speaking or is that on stage speaking? How do you do that?
As the occasion may arise. I'm working on a TED Talk. I haven't got accepted yet. I haven't really submitted because I'm never home long enough. I'm reticent to even send them in because I think, okay, if they come back and say, oh, yes, we want you, it's like, oh, I might not be here.
I might be in Rome.
So I'm working on the talk, but I'm not sure when that's going to happen. But that's the plan. Mostly because that's because of the inclusion of the way the ship thing worked with the communication and how important that is to keep the world balanced and talking to each other.
I love it. And if you get that TED Talk, if you do take the time to do it, let me know because I want to check it out. I want to know more.
You got it.
Okay, and then you're the ship musician coach. So you said you do some coaching?
Well, that's the notes that float. So, because what I'm going to do with the program is take everybody through exactly what needs to be done. I can use the book as a basis. I'll throw in the book if they join the program because they need that foundational information. But we're going to go through what it takes to put your package together, what everybody in the group, if you have a band, what they need to know in order to make the attempt to get booked. I have connections with the agents and things to get them approved and see what I can do about getting a big gig.
I love it. If I could sing and I could carry a tune, I'd be like, Nancy, hello. But
Can you
I
carry in the bucket?
cannot carry a tune, guys. I cannot sing. I can serve tea, but I can't sing, guys.
That's okay. We need
I
audience
have
just
written a
as much
song
as
and
we
sang
need
it, but I'm
performers.
just like, yeah, we're not doing that again.
Well, as a podcaster, you need an audience just as well as you need the players. So they're both equally important.
Right? It's some stuff is just not my cup of tea. And I tried the singing. Like I wrote a song and I sang a song. It was okay. It was something that I could cross off my bucket list, but I wouldn't do it again because I'm tone deaf.
But you
I
try.
can't hear myself. But I tried, right? And that's the most important thing is we need to keep trying. We need to get that message out there.
Absolutely.
Just
For
go and try
anything.
it. So Nancy, what final message do you have for all the viewers tonight?
Oh my gosh. I'd say just keep your mind open to the opportunities that are out there in the world. I know I've been talking to a lot of career coaches and, in book marketing, trying to see who wants to dive in and check out this sort of life. And I just say, I hope people keep an open mind on what the possibilities are in the world, that there's a whole world out there. And experiencing other cultures and other countries can be just positively mind blowing. And it just makes you realize how much we all have so much in common, so much more than we have in differences.
I, I think that's really good message, just get along. Like, let's bring our countries together. Let's travel together. Let's see the world, let's go to the sea and enjoy. Anybody that wants to enjoy a cruise, I highly recommend that you check out Nancy Soule and ask her some questions. If you have any questions that you didn't get them out tonight and you'd like to get them out, you can always reach Miss Liz and you can reach Nancy as well. All of her information is on Miss Liz's YouTube channel and all of my Facebook, my LinkedIn, all of that good stuff. And also you can check out Nancy on the website at www.misslizsteatimes.com. She's on there as well. You can check this and watch this replay. You can share this tea time. You can get it out there. And if you're interested in working on the sea, I highly recommend you go see Nancy because she's the lady to go to. So she does have her book. So Nancy, I'm going to get you to spell out your website for the audio listeners, and then we're going to wrap up this tea time, and we're going to see everybody in November for a whole new set of guests.
Well, you can reach me two different ways. One of them is through my website at http:// Nancy Soule SOULE.net, or you can hit me up with notes that float program at gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nancy. I had a blast with you tonight. And I went on the sea, guys. Miss Liz went on the sea. And I got a little bit of music, a little bit of jive, a little thing. So, Nancy, you want to close this up with a song?
Oh my gosh, catching me off guard. What would you like to hear?
I don't know. What you got?
Oh, there's so many. I can't even begin.
Whatever pops in your head, go. Just follow the sea.
By the sea, by the sea, by the beautiful sea, you and me, oh, how happy we'll be.
Awesome. I love it. And I will see everybody November 2nd with 3 new guests, with 3 new TEAs. And check them all out. The November guests have been released. They are on the website. They are also on Miss Liz's Facebook page. And if you would like to RSVP any of those tea times, go ahead and do that. All you need to do is click on their little information on the website, and you can RSVP, and Miss Liz will send you a quick old message to remind you to come and check out this tea time. Until then, everyone have an amazing weekend, and I will see everybody November 2nd for a whole new month of guests for TEAs.
Wonderful. Thank you, Liz. This was so